a disabled man. He was receiving £11,000 a month, essentially, to fund round-the-clock care that he needs. He, over a period of time, has been saving up some of this money. He's got savings, not bad, of about £50,000 now. Long story short, wanted to go on holiday to Florida, not just him, but two of his carers. The council got wind of this. I think, actually, he was mentioning it to one of these social worker people that were engaged with him. The council then took the money off him and said that he couldn't use this money for this holiday to Florida. Anyway, he's trying to do a GoFundMe now. A lot of people are chipping in. They want to help him get his holiday. But this premise about whether or not you should be able to take your care payments, essentially, and save them up and put them on holidays, do you agree with that, Henry?
This is a tricky one. Look, part of the funding for people like this gentleman, it provides for going to cafes, going to cinemas, going to pubs, this sort of thing. So it's actually quite a good system. It's tricky. What if the person doesn't want to go to the pub or doesn't drink tea or coffee? Does that mean they don't get the opportunity to spend that money on something else? So there is that question. The other thing is that the council, as I understand it in this particular case, have said, look, actually, we will fund care for you if you go to Florida, but it will have to be local. We will employ people in Florida to take care of you. Yeah,
or they'll fund the wages of his current carers, but they won't fund the travel and accommodation of them.
So, I mean, there has to be a limit. What if he wants to go on a round-the-world cruise or whatever? So I actually think, whilst there is a question about what freedoms people in his situation get in terms of how they spend the money that's allocated to them, I think there is a question as to we need to highlight that the council has actually tried to assist in this case. So I don't know the specific details, but the whole question, I think, of how we take care of people in the community and how we ensure that they've got a quality life is one that we need to continue to have a debate over. And I'm not trying to sort of get out of this in any way, but if we look at how people 25, 30 years ago with his sort of condition were treated, it was an appalling life. They didn't have much quality of life at all. That has changed, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
And there are still teething problems. I would like to see this gentleman go off to Florida. I think, other people can go on holiday. If he's saved money that is effectively income for his leisure, then fine, he can fund his trip.
But you see, this is the key dispute. That is the key. What you've just said then.
He is funding his own trip.
No, that's not the bit. No, Henry, that's not. No, you're missing the point. The bit what you've just said then is if he wants to take this income and use it to spend on holidays, then that's free choice. But this is the nub of the matter, because what the council is saying is that these direct payments for care are not a form of income. So they are literally payments to fund care. So it's not for you to pick and choose this and that and the other.
Entirely.
And but this is a dispute. This is a dispute that the council's having. So what the council's saying is, if essentially we've paid you more than you want or need, then we want that surplus back.
Yeah, and I gather from reading the article that some of the money that was put aside that wasn't spent was during COVID, when obviously a lot of those things. Now, you might argue that the council were remiss in carrying on paying that when it couldn't be used for things, and it's a benefit, but it's a different sort of benefit because it does allow an element of free choice. And I think Henry's absolutely right. As far as I can see, the council have offered to pay for care when he gets to America. He's paying for his own flight there, and I'm sure the specialist travel company that he's travelling with will provide support and help for him to travel. Now, he may obviously prefer to go with people who he knows and who attend to him every day, but those people must have holidays or get sick, so there must be cover. I think... I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks there's a bit more to this than meets the eye.
Well, I listened to the whole podcast. So where this whole kind of the articles and all the rest of it have actually come from. So I've listened to this gentleman, and his friend comes onto the podcast as well to explain these kind of things. And what he's saying, he's got a life-limiting disability. He doesn't know how long he will have left to live. He's actually lived beyond what is normally expected on average for this condition. And what he wants to do is go on holiday every year for as long as he possibly can. And I guess the nub of it is that point about if there is facilities made and payments made for someone's lifestyle, which some of these payments do go towards that, because it's not just a basic, we're going to pay for you to have the basics. It is like a lifestyle element as well that contributes to the well-being of that person. Should those payments have continued when all of the essential leisure facilities, etc., cinemas or whatever, which has been referenced, that was closed down?
Or shouldn't there have been a conversation where he said, I can't spend this, can I keep it?
Indeed. But look at other people in other situations, poor people who, of course, I have huge sympathy for them. But, somebody who needs regular dialysis, for example, might not be able to travel to somewhere that they want. There are many medical conditions that are nobody's fault. But do we then say, well, we fund those holidays or that care abroad and facilitate all of that? It could, be absolutely unsustainably expensive. So I think it's good that this debate is going on. I think it's good that the gentleman's brought this up. But I do think that actually it's a good system, may not be perfect. Well,
I can tell you now, this debate will rumble on and on. The chap in question, he's appealed this decision. He's lost that appeal. The council continue to say they've done nothing wrong. So, as I say, this one will rumble on and on, I'm sure. But